Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What company are you convinced actually hates their customers? Ticketmaster. They clearly hate music fans, bands and music itself. Include Live Nation in that mix. The shows they take over become absolutely hostile. Edit. Yes, they merged, I'm aware, which is why I called it part of the mix. But they operate different parts of the businesses. You can buy trademark ticks for shows Lane don't control, or at least you used to, not sure anymore, and you don't meet trademark employees on the ground, so IMO Live Nation deserves a special call-out for ruining venues. Also, they're currently being sued by the DOJ for antitrust practices. Wouldn't it be amazing if they broke it up? They upset the Swifties, so there's a chance. But I really wish musicians would avoid working with Lane, trademark. They're letting it happen because dollar. Closing parenthesis. Every single US health insurance provider, who devote millions of dollars and work hours every year to making sure that their customers die at a profitable rate. There is a quote in Ocean's 11 where Andy Garcia says something to the effect of, "The business to be in is banks, insurance, and casinos. Places where people give you their money and think that someday you will give it back." I work in pharmacy. I could tell so many stories. There are two that stick out, one because it happens so goddamn often and the other because it was so goddamn ridiculous. Our pharmacy can't break boxes of needles, we just don't do it. We never have, we probably never will. Diabetics need needles to inject insulin, a lot of them need it daily, a ton of them need it multiple times daily, the most common is with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's 3 times a day. Needles almost always come in packs of 100. So I'll enter for quantity, QTY, 100, then for the day supply I'll enter 34, because they're using 3 a day, and we round the day supply up if it's not a whole number, but insurance hates giving out more than a month's worth of medication at a time. They detest it. So they'll reject it, and it comes back to me. But we can't break boxes. So I still give them 100 needles, I just change the day supply to be 30 instead of 34. But it wastes so much extra time because it has to go through me, then data verification, then insurance, then back to me to change that one number, then back to data verification, then back to insurance, then to the store. The other one has only happened to me once so far, but it was for malaria prophylaxis. The patient was traveling to a country where malaria was a possibility, so the doctor wrote for 12 tablets. 1 tablet every week for 4 weeks before travel, 1 tablet every week for the 4 weeks they were gonna be there, then 1 tablet every week for the 4 weeks after they got back. Insurance rejected it and said, no, you only get a 30-day supply. Which wouldn't even give them enough to last until they got to the malaria country. Now I'm not a doctor, but I feel like treating malaria is slightly more expensive than the 6 tablets that would have prevented it. And the amount that you, the pharmacist, farm tech get screamed at because of what these insurance companies do, merely because you're talking to the person who will be angry about it, at the time you inform them they have something to be angry about, is limitless. I hate it. Oracle. They accuse their customers of having more installs than their license allows for. When shown proof, they will say the customer isn't providing all the correct details and then Oracle sues said customer. Oracle is a law firm that has a software development department. Oh, my sibling worked at Oracle for a few years. I can assure you they loathe their own employees as well. They famously and proudly do not give raises. For the majority of people, what you make upon entering is what you will make forever. Larry Ellison can fall into the Grand Canyon. He also moved to Hawaii during the pandemic. He owns 98% of Lanai. He sent out the rudest fucking email on earth that got leaked that essentially said, when COVID started I assumed that no work would get done because you'd all be lazy and productivity would decrease, but since then I feel it has been very productive for me, so I'm going to keep working from home on Lanai. Fuck off. My spouse worked there as a project manager in the late 90s. He was part of a big layoff after 9/11. He found out 2 days after starting a new project 500 miles from home, where they cancelled his company credit card and hotel. I had just started nursing school and had to get a job as a night CNA, so we had health insurance. Fuck Oracle. What's funny is that he claimed that he was planning on spending $500 million to improve the infrastructure of the island and create a green agricultural industry. Instead he spent $450 million to remodel the Four Seasons resort which he owns. Infrastructure indeed. Spectrum, Time Warner. They hate their employees too. I moved, changed cable packages and switched to paperless billing at the same time. I didn't realize for a long time that I was being overcharged every month. Partly my fault, but it's their legal responsibility to not do that. Anyways, while on the phone with them to get my money back, they offered 3 months in credit towards billing. I said that was hilarious, since we know exactly when the charges began and ended. After holding for 90 minutes, I spoke with a manager of some sort who was the manager of the previous manager. She said the same shit. During that 90-minute hold, I read about the class action lawsuit they had just lost for charging for services not rendered, which is exactly what happened to me. I mentioned this and had my money back within 5 minutes. They're pieces of shit at Spectrum. For what it's worth, the kid I talked to first said he sees what happened and that it is messed up, and to call back and ask for him if nothing was resolved. So good for him. I don't know what he could have done, but I assume he knew a trustworthy manager or something. We went to a physical store location to turn in the cable setup the previous tenant left at our apartment, and they tried to charge us the fee for the previous person's outstanding bill. Like, we are returning your equipment that we found. We don't have money for cable LMAO. Take it. My mom ended up taking a photo of the box sitting on the shop counter and walking out. I used to work at Enterprise Rent a Car and can confirm everyone there hates the customer tears of joy. Reserved a car from Enterprise on vacation so I could leave early to get back to work. Got there and the gal says, "How can I help you?" I told her I reserved a car, mid-sized, because they were out of economy. She asks my name, then looks it up and says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have any cars right now." I said that if they didn't have a mid-sized or whatever, I guess I'd take whatever they got. She then told me they don't have any cars, and that I could reserve one if one comes in. I told her I did reserve one, that's why I'm here. She asked me if I reserved it online. I told her I did because when I called, the phone tree I reached prompted me to do so. She then said, "Yeah, the online reservations let you reserve cars that aren't really here. We kinda hate that they do that." I told her not as much as I hate that they do that. Fuck Enterprise. It's insane. They do it as a business model hoping people will cancel. Employees truly have no control, have to hear the feedback knowing it won't lead to a change. Again, all while being graded on customer service. But hey, make sure to dress nice. Do you look professional doing it? Oracle. They'd shake a baby to death to see if some CPU cores fell out its pocket so they could charge the grieving parents some CPU licensing fees. Oracle. One rich asshole called Larry Ellison. Fun fact, he's banned from New Zealand. Facebook. I tried advertising with them, and they said, 1 account per person, even when they won't let me log into my old account. I am trying to give you money. Not to mention, it should be illegal for a consumer-facing company that big to not have any real customer service. Account hacked and you're locked out. Tough luck, try reading our FAQ. Being harassed. Tough luck, try reading our FAQ. Issues with marketplace. Tough luck, try reading our FAQ. Users are not customers. The advertisers are the customers. You are the product Facebook sells to the customers. There's also the other side of it. I've reported so many ads that are clearly scams and Facebook is like, nah, we're just going to leave that up. They don't give a fuck if you get ripped off. I think Chipotle hates their customers for pointing out the portion size shrinkage to the point they actually had to address it. I hate when people pretend shrinkflation works by somehow fooling the customer. You aren't fooling anyone. You are literally just not giving the consumer a choice. Same price, less product is really obvious, but if the customer still wants that product, they will pay despite knowing full well they're getting less. I would genuinely rather pay more for the product to be the same size as before. Same price, less product. In Chipotle's case, it was more price, less product. HP, Hewlett-Packard, printer company. They really hate their user base. Would have suggested Nintendo first, but it's already been said. HP is whatever the fuck it is. It's shit all around. Their laptops, their printers. Verizon and AT&T. And Xfinity. Comcast, don't fall for their rebranding. Any insurance company. They take their monthly payments, but when it comes time to pay out, they try to pay as little as possible or try to get out of it as much as they can. And they get the benefit that it's a law to have to work with one of them. As someone who handled claims, I'd say 85% of the denials we saw stemmed from people not actually understanding what their coverages were. I put a lot of blame on the agents, most of whom have room temp IQs, and underwriters who either didn't read the policies they were selling or purposely mislead their customers. This is why I tell everyone to take 5 to 10 minutes and read your policies every year you renew. Stuff can and will change. I've worked in insurance for 6 years. I've seen thousands of claims denied, and many more approved. Out of those thousands, I think maybe 10 were a bad company call that I disagreed with as a human with empathy. The rest were from the insured not understanding their insurance. I think Facebook has disdain for its customers. Not necessarily hate. They really fucked up when they changed everyone's feeds. Instead of feeding us in order of most recent posts from friends and pages we follow and then older and older posts as we scroll down, now it's this crazy mess of videos we don't care about being suggested to us, or a 12-day-old post from a friend that you never interact with, or it tells you a friend commented on a post from a year ago. It's such a mess now. I'm not surprised if most people stopped using it at this point. Users aren't the customers, we are the product. Their customers are advertisers. Amazon, why put ads when we are paying for it anyway? Don't charge more when you're making billions. IDKWTF happened to Amazon. In high school, I was always shopping there. It was great known brands, no shipping fees because my parents have Prime. Then I had a broke college student era. But now I'm moving into my first grown-up home. Buying similar furniture as I used to buy in high school. All these random brands that I'd expect to be an IKEA name, and the shipping fees make the cheaper items cost just as much as the expensive items. Currently looking for a new vanity. I could get one for $200 or $100 but with a $110 delivery charge. Still using my parents' Prime account. There's a good half as interesting video about the whack brand names. It's because the brands are so scummy that they get shut down quickly, so the companies behind them need to produce them incredibly fast to maintain constant market presence. However, when you submit a brand to a government's trademark office, they have to check it against other trademarks. If you make the brand AOJSHFPOIDH or whatever, it's very unlikely to already be taken. Everything I've bought off Amazon in the last few years has been crap. I never go on there anymore.